Can I bring a little hip-hop back? Yeah. Can I bring a little hip-hop back? I know you like it, you gon' play that back. Yeah. I know you like it, you gon' play that back. Can I bring a little hip-hop back? Yeah. Can I bring a little hip-hop back? I know you like it, you gon' play that back. I know you like it, you gon' play that back. Yeah.
Solution for African people is no different than the solution for the French people. It's the same. It's no secret. It's not hidden under a rock. We have to do what everyone else has done, and has build ourselves up independently, economically, educationally, spiritually, socially, politically. We must become a power base, which we are not, as we are today, with all of our doctors, with all of our college-educated folks, with all of our black capitalistic business owners who are only looking to get rich themselves but do nothing to raise the general economic condition of black people. We are still a race of dependents. If you live in France, you're dependent on the French government for this and for that. You're dependent on white business to provide your basic needs. America, it's the same thing. Africa, it's the same thing. Wherever we are dependent on the white power structure where we live. There's 4 institutions that you must have in order to be considered an independent community. We don't have them nowhere in space and time at the same time. A hospital to protect African life. A supermarket, okay, for nutrition to preserve African life. Education to prepare the next generation of African children for the role that they must play in the freedom struggle. And number 4, a bank to finance the building of infrastructure and institutions and organizations and programs where we live. You cannot find those 4 things totally owned by African people anywhere on the face of the earth, but we will call ourselves free. There's 2 types of freedom. There's a F-R-E-E-D-O-M, and there's an F-R-E-E-D-U-M-B. White people have the freedom. We have the freedom because we're too politically uneducated to recognize that it doesn't matter if you can drive a Mercedes. It doesn't matter if you can live in a white suburb. It doesn't matter if your black child can go to a white school. At the end of the day, what do you control? What do you own? What do you produce? What do you distribute? Marcus Garvey said, a race without power and authority is a race without respect. A race that doesn't respect itself automatically forfeits the respect of other people.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Speak On. I'm your host, Steve. I'm your host, Rick. And today we're sitting down with the man,
JD, Labnitz and Media Group.
And we're going to jump right into it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about DR.UMAR. In case you don't know who he is, he's
certified
school psychologist, cool calling nigga. But I love him though, man. His words are very, you're cool. His words are very inspiring. His words, and I learned a lot from him today. But the guy that's on fire about this situation right now is JD, and I'm gonna let him tee it off. Go ahead and give us something about.
Okay. First off, I met Dr. Umar probably this is 2018. I met him back in 2014 when he came to Kansas City at Donovan College, and then I met him again probably a year or 2 later. And he did an event, another event in Kansas. I can't remember the auditorium that we were at, but he had a debate with a feminist in Kansas City. And I was actually the videographer that filmed that. So I got a chance to spend some time with Dr. Umar and talk to him. And a lot of his views I agree with, you know, especially the view of Black people needing to respect themselves and collectively move forward together. One thing that got me is about some of his comments that he said were the self-respect. I ain't gonna mention it, but the self-respect that Black people need to have for themselves. I remember when we were younger, the way that women would dress before the guys started wearing skinny jeans and the women jumped into leggings. All of the young chicks used to wear real short tennis skirts and real short dresses that came above mid-thigh. And they had little names. They had little names that came with them. At the time, it wasn't thought and stuff like that. It was more like slut and
slut
hoe.
bucket,
And,
hoe,
yeah,
tramp, DA.
right, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But a lot of people would say, a lot of people would say, why don't you respect her? That's a lady. And just because she doesn't respect herself doesn't mean you shouldn't respect her. But one thing that Umar said about the race of black people is without the four institutions that we need to collectively gain and support ourselves, to gain the respect of other people, that we automatically forfeit the respect of those people because we're not doing what we need to properly care for ourselves and properly care for our future. And that hit me like a sledgehammer when you said that, because you would think that someone should respect you automatically just on the basis of you being a human being. But if you're a human being that can't collectivize and group together with other human beings that are like-minded and like you to benefit yourself and your collective as a whole, why should I respect you? That's my take.
I mean, if the last time I remember, growing up, you was always taught respect is earned. That's how it is. Some people might respect you off the flip, but everybody ain't gonna respect you. Some people, you gotta earn their respect. And I'm sorry. I'm not saying that we should have to earn white folks respect. I'm just saying you ain't gonna never get, not just white folks, anybody out there to respect anything you got going on. You ain't gonna respect yourself. It's just not gonna happen. All this fighting, all this killing, all this arguing, bickering, and fighting over nonsense. Like the further and further it goes, the more motherfuckers is gonna look at us like hell. Our elders look at us like we animals and clowns. And these kids don't know how to act. These kids don't got no respect for this. They ain't got no respect. So if our own grandmas and grandpas and great grandmas, the ones who still got great grandmas, is looking at us and shaking our head, what y'all think white folks gonna look at us and say? They gonna say the same thing, if not more. Hell, the great grandmas grew up in the same times that they did. So they gonna look, they might not call you a nigger or whatever but they gonna look at you like they this dumb nigga. Over there dancing, shaking and jiving and all that shit.
You are who you are. If that's who you acting like, that's what you're gonna get treated. That's right. I mean, the change or change. Shit. Like you said, the motherfuckers are just look at that. But it's up to us to change. And on the self-respect part is y'all know y'all here doing this dumb shit.
On the self-respect part, why do y'all think people get mad when you tell them we need to start respecting ourselves more?
I don't get mad.
Like not you, but the people when you instantly tell motherfuckers, you say y'all need to stop all that. Y'all need to stop fighting each other. Y'all need to stop killing each other in the streets. Y'all need to stop doing this. And they look at you like you crazy for wanting your people to stop fighting. It should not be okay to say this man shot up this house as a result to gang retaliation. You should not be saying, oh, that's just hood life. You should not be able to say that.
Well,
you got kids that's living in these houses and kids is getting killed. And motherfuckers is just like, oh man, such house got shot up. Like, oh man, that's just another day in the hood. Like, hell, bro.
I can put it like this. Some people, it goes into where you place your value. Well, pride is one thing, but everything to somebody has a certain aspect of value. Like the shirt you got on your back. You know what I'm saying? Or the shoes you got on your feet. The camera that's recording this interview. Everybody places certain values in certain things or certain places on certain people. And that's going to go, that's going to be related to your race, your economic status, and your location. So check this out. Somebody that goes to, let's say, St. Teresa over there off of 55th, real prestigious high school. You see what I'm saying? They have separate buildings. Instead of one building that all kids go to school in, they change classes or change locations like they go in college. Their parents pay tuition. So at that school, those children their values are different. You see what I'm saying? How they attach value to certain things is different. Now, if you got somebody that just go to center, you see what I'm saying, for one building, you see what I'm saying, football field on the other side of that building, and you in a melting pot of different individuals, and you don't have that same experience, and your values there may be different just because of the way you interact and the way you move and shake in that school versus living in an area where you gotta go to center and living in an area where you gotta go to St. Teresa. What you being taught from your parents while going to that school versus what you being taught from your parents while going to center. You see what I'm saying?
Some people do that.
Yeah.
You got kids that live in the Ruskin area, and they daddy be like, "Oh, I don't want you to play football here. I'm gonna take you to Blue Springs."
Right.
And you go to school all the way in Blue Springs,
But you live in Ruskin. So even though you
I
go to Blue Springs, your value is gonna
down
be different.
south, and I was still going to school in the hood. So yeah, I know exactly.
So yeah, your values are based on association. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of time, them kids, like what you was talking about, a lot, well, not the kids, but the elders would be like, "Hey, y'all shooting each other, y'all killing each other, y'all acting like animals." You see what I'm saying? To those kids that's doing that, that's where they place their value. You see what I'm saying? And they've been taught by somebody older than them to place their value there, or they didn't learn it by association. So you have to, or we have to do something to minimize the transference of that type of value system.
Okay, and I was about to ask, what's the step that we can take to get them to sit down and see that at some point you gotta start thinking on your own and stop listening to the ones that's encouraging you to be on.
Well, you telling somebody is one thing. Showing them is completely different. Because that's one thing a lot of black parents do. Every black mama I know say it. I don't know how many times I done told you. But they don't never say, I don't know how many times I done showed you. You see what I'm saying? You just listen to what people say. I don't know how many times I told you. You tell me that many times again. And it still ain't gonna make no sense until you show me.
That's just crazy you say that, because that's how I learned. That's why I don't like school, because I don't like, you know what I'm saying, being told like, "Hey, doing it myself," and somebody, you know what I'm saying, we working together. You're showing me what I'm doing, but I'm also doing the shit at the same time.
You seeing it, you hearing it, you participating, and you remembering. Versus listen, now do it. Fuck, I done forgot the first thing you said, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me give all 10 steps again. I done told you the 10 steps 10 times. You don't remember? No, because you didn't show me the first fucking 3. You see what I'm saying? Show me the first 3. Then let's move on to 4. Let's work on the first 4. Let's move on to 5.
You want to cram everything in one set, and then I'm supposed to just go out there and do it. And the main thing I'm remembering is the last 3 steps. That's what's on my mind. Oh, damn, what's the first 3
That's
steps?
why when you go out here in these streets, black people will kill you over something you said.
Oh yeah, so small.
Something you didn't say. Because if they knew better, if they were shown something different, them words wouldn't mean that much. Because they would know that action is more powerful than that. You know what I'm saying?
And I tell people that. What you worried about them talking? My brother's gonna talk.
They don't know.
Did they do
One
something?
thing my mama said, people gonna talk about you till the day you die.
Talk about you. I mean, I hate to bring his name into it, but talk about Jesus Christ.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's why I said I hate to bring the name up into it. But you know, motherfuckers gonna talk about you. I mean, I'm big. I done been called everything up. Motherfucker, I'm on the app. And people see me and they try to tell fat jokes. I mean, you can't. It's not a fat joke.
You ain't heard.
That I ain't heard.
Yeah.
But there was a subject that Dr.UMAR was talking about. You kind of odd.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. What did you think about him talking about the whole the school policy and all that shit?
Okay. The No Child Left Behind thing, I known about that, but in that same context, he was discussing how they figured out federally how to push money through black churches to fund certain agendas.
Yeah, he beat around the circle to do that.
Yeah. the reason that made me feel a certain kind of way is because when you watch historical documentaries or you watch historical films or any context of history that's being pushed up on you, you see that over, and they always show the 60s. They won't never really show the 30s and the 40s. They always show them late 50s, early 60s, early 70s, from the late 50s to the early 70s with the struggle. But they don't never show you really anything before that. But they got documented footage on that same stuff. The thing that got me about it was they said all of the major black movements, the civil rights movement, even Brown versus the Board of Education, stuff like that, there was a major church push behind it with resources funneled to back those movements. You see what I'm saying? And the reason that got to me is because I never put two and two together. Even the nonviolent protest and all of that, those movements were birthed out of some type of church or temple or religious movement, but I never knew that they were federally backed because it's supposed to be a separation between church and state. You know, but they did it anyway.
They're supposed to put a tax on the church. They did it anyway.
Yeah, they did it anyway. So that makes me feel some type of way because you don't know the intricacies. Hey, maybe this was the way they wanted the movement to go. Maybe integration was a part of the overall plan.
And that's why I was
You
going
see?
into the part why I said that Judge Brown didn't mention Dr. King's name.
Yeah.
Because maybe he already knew. They wanted all that shit back.
Well, one thing that Dr. King said was, because he was actually going to work with Malcolm X toward the end. He said, I feel that
Somebody said that.
Yeah, I feel I'm leading my people into a burning building by getting them to integrate.
They said he felt bad for what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was going to convert it. Before he could convert it, his job was already done.
Yeah, because he's about to have a poor people's
That's
march
what
in
happened to Dr.
Washington.
King?
Yeah.
He felt bad about what he was doing. The job was wrong. Everything that he did, that shit was wrong. It didn't. I mean, yeah, they had to allow us in certain places, but you see it still today, man. They still treat us like shit.
That thing, I ain't gonna say it was wrong, but he was pushing for social equality when he should have been pushing for economic equality. That's what Malcolm was about. Malcolm wanted black people to have their own. He wanted economic equality. Martin Luther King wanted to be accepted in life. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool if you like me. I don't mean I'm gonna give you no money. But if that's the difference between equality and equity. That's another thing black people don't know. The difference between equality and equity. Equality is if we all get the same thing, like you get a cup of beer, he get a cup of beer, I get a cup of beer. And it's all the same amount.
But it's the kind of beer that we drink.
And it's all the same amount.
All the same
But
amount.
keep in mind, we all hold different amounts. I'm smaller. He's bigger than me. You see what I'm saying? So this cup of beer may fill me up.
Right.
But that same cup of beer
Ain't gonna fill me up.
with
Right.
equity, equity means we all get full.
Yeah.
So it may take 5 ounces to fill me up. It may take 20 ounces to fill him up. But in the end, are we all full?
Right.
Not did we all get the same amount.
Right.
You see, that's the difference between equality and equity. So we need to be pushing for equity.
That's a good statement.
Fuck equality. Because just because we equal don't mean it's the same.
Yeah, of course.
You see what I'm saying? Because we all free now, but some motherfucker got a head start. And they got all the shit that they owe you. If you give us what you owe, or pay for what you did, we'll be pushing more toward equity.
We're never gonna see that. They made,
Yeah,
they made that rule. Like, if y'all ain't know, they put that in the but then they put that in somewhere that for all the shit that black people did back then, our 40 acres and mule and shit, our back pay that we all deserve. We're not gonna get it.
Well, check this out. It's funny you say that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get it. They put it in
Some banks.
I can't remember.
No, they still owe. But
Yeah.
some banks and some companies have made reparations payouts.
Have they?
Yes.
Because I heard they
Yes.
made some that was like they was not responsible for that.
The
Back pay, like people weren't supposed to allow get back pay for that shit.
yeah, like the American government is still responsible. because of them laws and the shit.
I mean,
because
it all goes back to that.
the American government is still responsible for that, but there were certain companies that participated in it.
Yeah.
And they made
Or maybe
reparations.
it's we can't sue them for that shit. It's something we can't do for that money.
We can sue, but this is the thing.
Basically,
Umar,
man, you're not a citizen, technically.
Well, shit, I know that.
So
I'm like the
the
rest of the
real reason
community in this
why
world
they're not
besides the
gonna give you
Mexicans.
reparations
Mexicans the only
because
motherfuckers
you're
that
not
came over here willingly. They put us in boats and shit. Bring us over.
In the video with Judge Brown and Dr. Umar, they was talking about, they made laws and rules for blacks to be accepted and to be treated so-called equal, but there were clauses in those amendments and in those laws that they didn't have to fully go through with the things
like fully mandate the
yeah,
citizenship.
they didn't have to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to, they supposed to let us in stores, but they don't have to feed us the same food that they feed everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to let us in the movie theaters, but they don't have to let us in these certain theaters. Yeah, they
But
got
that's
to
the
let
equality I'm talking about, not equity.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can get businesses, but we might not be granted the same resources and funding that the same white businesses could get because they technically don't have to. They put all kind of clauses in everything that was allowed for us so that they can still tell us no or get away, like killing us. There's clauses in when they kill us. There's clauses.
Talk about that, what you was talking about the other day with the cops. Remember you was talking about the cops and everything? The reason why they was getting away with these murders and stuff because we're not considered citizens.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this for a while.
Yeah, y'all black people, y'all not even the whole man.
If you look at the Constitution, it wasn't really written for us.
Right. Because it wasn't written by us.
It wasn't written for
That's
women
a
either.
No,
It was only written for white men.
Still, people
surprised by that?
people they not surprised by that, but they don't understand the reason why they get away with it
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah, fucking book.
we are not a full person.
Yeah.
We not the laws is out there, but that's for people who is considered a
Not
full man in this
considered a
nation.
full
Like
man.
they can say, okay, that's wrong, and they can take us to court for the shit, but that don't mean that shit is gonna happen. Nothing.
See, that's the
There
shit
you
that
go.
need to fix. How the fuck am I not a whole man?
Yeah, it needs to be
Fuck,
rewritten.
I wake up every
And
day
it'll
pissed,
never
standing
be
up like the rest of
it'll
everybody.
never be rewritten
Right.
until we have black people that's in office that this is about to go to that to the church part. Black people who are in office that are supported by the black people. Not black people who are in office that are being funded by white businesses and white backgrounds.
Well, that's how you keep. But those are the black people they're gonna let in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where your voting power.
Of course, they got legs in somewhere. Then they're gonna let all of us in.
They said they was talking about him and Judge
Small
Brown and Dr.
portion.
Umar was talking about that we need to get black people in office that won't get in office and take white money. That'll be in office but still work for the people,
us.
and that's being funded by our churches.
Yeah.
And by our communities, and then taking all that money that's coming from the churches and in the community and
Don't
putting
take that
it
church
right
money.
back.
I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Because I'm going there. Hold on. Because look,
Thank you.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But
But
please don't take
yeah.
that church money. Don't take that goddamn
Let
money.
me clear up a little bit what he's
This
saying.
was before I seen. This was before he was talking about the whole the church being funded through the government, because he did bring up the church being funded through the government after that. But he was talking about.
But I'm gonna talk about it before that though. Before I even knew that. But go ahead.
Okay, he was. They was just basically saying.
What he's saying is, because I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're
right,
saying. But their main point was this. Both of them were saying we need to start voting for. The main point was what he was saying. Both of them were saying that we need to start voting for local politicians, black politicians, because they're the ones are going to do stuff for us in our community.
The ones that, and make sure that they're funded through us.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
getting
Yeah,
outside money.
we have to fund their campaigns.
But we
You
got
know what I'm saying? We have to give them when we vote for them.
Mhm.
Not only that, you gotta keep you know what I'm saying, giving them funds so they can get stuff done.
Yeah, they was talking about our gang, everybody who
You
the
talking
so-called
about allocate a budget or allocate a certain lump sum of money
Yeah.
that they can work from.
Yeah.
Not
Or
no
make-
PayPal payments or nothing.
Yeah.
Like get the
And
make
collective
a source-
individuals
yeah,
that voted
make a
together
source
say,
of-
hey,
make
we
a
got
source of
$40,000.
money.
We
Yeah.
got 50,000
Yeah.
or however
Yeah.
much it
Hey,
takes to pay
low
you
key,
for a
he was
year.
calling out
Yeah.
the gangs and all the people who's really making the monies in the black community. He was basically calling
But
them
again,
out.
You're not
remember
getting
what we
no
talked
way- you're
about
not getting
earlier?
away from
Where
the
they
game.
value at.
Yeah.
Remember we talked
Yeah.
about that value,
Yeah.
bro.
You're
Like
not-
he was
you're not
saying,
getting
y'all got all the money. Y'all keeping all the money in the hood. Y'all need to be putting the money in the politicians' hands. That's gonna help us and help get our stuff together. So we'll have to stop going to these white people in power to fix our shit, but they're not fixing it for us because the hood getting better now.
Yeah.
But the hood ain't getting better for us. The hood is getting. You know how many white folks I see running up and down the street. I live on
Walking their dogs and everything.
I live on 31st and Brooklyn,
Yeah.
right on the corner, down the street from both police. You know how many white folks I see running down the street?
Bro, I can tell you, I used to live on Armour and Warwick. I used to live right there at the Bella Reed, right across the street from the Derek Thomas Academy. I remember the day. This is back in 2001. I used to live there. I remember the day the FBI, the police, and the SWAT did a sweep on the same side of the street, from 35th and Truce, all the way down to 35th and Main. They went inside every building. Boom, ran up in there, rounded niggas up, put them in the truck. Boom, ran the next building. Round niggas up, put them in the truck. Boom, ran in the building.
Yeah.
Ran them out, put them in the truck. And I'm talking about they cleared out every single building.
Yeah,
And then after they did that,
in December.
they renovated the building.
Yeah.
And then after they did that, they released them apartments.
Yeah.
So I mean, the plan has been in effect for a while.
Same thing happened down south. Cloverleaf did the same shit.
Yeah.
We got Cloverleaf got Wi-Fi now. Motherfuckers got all
Well,
that.
that's beyond the subject.
Let's not get off.
We're not
Let's
getting
not get off topic.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
we're not here to glorify that. I'm trying to give him another situation.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not glorifying it. I'm speaking as
Well,
like
nigga,
that's
you-
what
we're
they
talking
trying
about
to.
this and you
They
brought up
try.
fucking
No, I'm
Wi-Fi.
talking about
You know
that's
what I'm
what
saying? Like,
they
this-
trying to improve the
I
areas.
understand.
But
I
not for
understand.
your
But
benefit.
not for your
You know what I'm
benefit.
saying?
But what JD said, nigga, yeah, they did the same shit. Boom, ran up in there, ran all niggas up out of there.
Like
You know,
rent
'cause
rent
if
on
anybody go to-
31st Street now
You
is
know,
damn near
You've been over there.
$800 now.
You've been over there. Half the place is a fucking graveyard now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
When they tore, I'm gonna tell you this, it was all bad. And this is the day everybody should have got their shit together who wanted to stay in that area. Because property value about to go up.
yeah.
When they tore down that gas station on 35th and Truce, or on Armour and Truce, there's a gas station sit right there.
Yeah,
The one that used to be on the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I used to.
When they tore that one down, that was the day. Because that was the hub. That was the community. That's where everybody sold their drugs.
Yeah,
That's where everybody met
mean,
at.
that place had
That's
to go.
where.
That place
But
really had to go.
I'm saying, if you
That,
remember
that
talking
dollar store
about,
next.
no, I know.
That whole strip about to be gone.
Yeah, but remember we was talking
I don't
about where
think
black
the
people make their
It's-
money
well,
at.
yes, they moving
Or
it.
like
They
the
moving
brothers
it over
make
there
their
by
money
the
at to support
YMCA
these
on
politicians
Inwood.
and stuff. That hub was one of them places, and they knew that. They got rid of it. They got rid of it. And then there's a Luffy's Catfish right up the way. There's a tattoo shop right there. There's that, I think it's a Shop and Save, or it's some local convenience store right there. Little grocery store, Save a Lot.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's right there. They slowly finna get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
And them gonna be homes. Because I'm telling you, bro, when I was down there, and I don't want to be too wordy, but when I was down there and I was living there would be white people. There'd be little white women. They'd be walking their dogs, or there'd be young white guys pulling up, and they would just be by themselves. And they would look at the properties. Like there was a place, an old catfish place. And I remember this white lady, she came up with her dog, she pulled up her phone, and she typed in the location. And she looked for the property value on that location. I think it was about a month later, it was purchased. And I saw that happen. Like, if you may see white people there, but if you're not paying attention to what they doing, if you think they just living there, no, they buying that location because the shit is so cheap.
My auntie told me, before she lost her house, she stayed in the Ruston area. They was doing for a lot of these vacant houses, and people didn't even know. They had hidden black market auctions where they was auctioning off big ass houses. I'm talking about 4, 5 bedroom houses. First come, first served. $100, $200, $300. 4, 5 bedroom houses in the hood.
That's what if you go to the
When I was still
KC
staying with
Land
her-
Bank, that's why they was giving them away for $1.
My auntie, my aunt
They
Bonnie,
had to.
my aunt Bonnie, she been working for the health department for years. Her house was one of those dollar houses from back in the day. She bought that mug for $1.
And it's real.
Spent about $1,300 remodeling her whole, and she owns that house. Her house is living in there.
They still got it now. You go to KC Land Bank, you can get it.
Dollar house.
Dollar
And then
house.
it's up to you to
And
it's up to you to fix
not
it.
only that, bro, $75 lots.
Yep.
$75 lots.
They doing that in Florida. This dude told me you can go buy a whole street with like 10 houses for about less than $10,000.
But this is the thing. Okay, prime example. Do you know the brother? Okay, right off of 41st and Flora, there's a community center that not owns it. He founded it, and what he did was he said him and his father moved in at the same time. They had the area was all white, and he said when they moved in, I think one more black family moved in, and he said when that second black family got there, the white people started moving out. So him and his father just started buying every house that the white people moved out of until they owned the block. And then when they owned the block, they tore it down and they turned it into that nonprofit.
Give me your perspective of how you feel about the No Child Left Behind.
I think it's there's a plus and a minus to that, because the concept of it comes from no soldier left behind, from the military or whatever. You know, you want everybody to move forward together, and soldier dies, you want to bring his body back. So the whole 9 yards. Yeah, in essence, I think the idea is good, but the way they exercise it is whack. Because if No Child Left Behind should truly mean mentally and educationally, no child should be left behind. But what they do is, I don't like to use this term, but they bring invalids ahead. You see what I'm saying? Where you got smart people and people who aren't grasping the knowledge moving along at the same pace but not learning at the same pace. So when you release them into the public and into the world, some of these people ain't gonna be able to fend for themselves. They're gonna commit crime or whatever it may be. They're gonna feed the system. The system is gonna eat off of them, and then it's gonna recycle itself under that same clause. I don't agree with that, and I don't like it. So that's how I
Segment about DR.UMAR. I'm your host, Steve.
And I'm your host, Rico.
JD with the Labnificent Media Group. I was gonna say, if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to the Labnificent Media Group at gmail.com. The Labnificent Media Group at webnode.com is my webpage. The Labnificent Media Group at Instagram, and the Labnificent Media Group at YouTube, or the Labnificent Media Group at Twitter. I'm all over the place.
It's all on all social media.
Or you can just dial 816-425-1399 if you need a video shot.
And work with this man. He really knows his stuff, man. He's with the ish.
Hey, we gon' all ball. You gotta keep hustling. Hey, one day we gon' all ball.
People who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. You are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure. But in the process of doing that, what you will realize is that you have greatness within you.
What's good, YouTubers? You can check out my page by typing in Blue Line Studios, subscribing over here, hitting my link. Check out Speak On It with interviews, local business owners. Scroll over. Check out music videos by Doughboy, Under the Influence. All right, peace.